I had no glasses today. No.
She just told me get rid of the gum.
I can toss it out. Is it stuck on the thing?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
No more lies, no more illusions. We are one. We accept the body that is before us. We place a sigil upon the body in acceptance. And may through joint surrendering, God's light shine forth. Greetings, brothers and sisters.
Welcome.
Today, we would like to start by doing a change of venue. While this will be featured in the conversation sections of the videos, we would like, because of time constraints, to continue the lessons. And so we will give a short lesson and then take questions. Are you okay with this?
Very much.
And so we begin. We wish to further outline what it is that we have already said, and perhaps say it in a clearer manner. And in this, we speak of the mind and understanding the focus, understanding perception, and understanding it to be your own universe. But before you get there are requirements of steps in order to achieve it. And it is this subject we wish to go over again, to make it clearer, to continue laying information for those who would listen, to understand, and to begin to poke holes in their reality, if they choose. And so, we have given much information on the current modalities of healing and the thought processes behind them, the intentions, the methods, and we have been critical into why they do not achieve success. And perhaps it is time to ask the question, what do we consider success? And there are different types of beliefs on how a path should operate. One, if you question it thoroughly, teaches you that you are limited, that you are not divine. While it holds that aspect there, it holds no responsibility for actually holding the light, of actually realizing it, and having it be an actualized experience. Such things are beyond your reach. Such things are meant for the special few. And when they appear, you then say that they were chosen to come in, highly advanced, to play a purpose. Again, we point out, you separate yourself from the possibility of the path. And so, before we look at the path, let us look at what it is that you actually hold, what it is that you are actually valuing. In that sense, the idea that you currently hold with current modalities is that you slowly grow over many, many, many lifetimes You can attempt to work out one issue and have it take several lifetimes until with divine timing, everything clicks into place. And you have the actualization of that issue alone. And you get in completeness what it was that you were trying to learn. And in this, we ask the question, is this a true statement? Is this the way it actually works? Is it possible? Is there potential that the reason why your growth of understanding and becoming consciousness is so slow, to quote your own words, over many lifetimes to bloom and to come to fruition, is because you expect it to? Is because you call it the norm? Is because you've been taught that? Which is true? That this is a true way, or it was created to make logical sense of the blocks before you, to give them validity, to give them reasoning, to give them structure. Why would God send forth its children with such limited ideas of itself? We have always stated that you can liberate at any point in time. You can liberate in this very moment and gain full awareness if you choose to. Key word, choose, which involves free will. The inhibitor of growth on the path is simply thus. You look at yourself as limited, trying to learn the divine. And as we said in the last message, wrong end of the telescope. You are the divine looking through the limited for physical experience, which means you are complete to begin. And the question that we bring to each of our brothers and sisters, do you believe that? And it is an important question because it goes into your creation concepts that you already know. If you do not believe you are the divine looking to manifest through physical experience, then why would you create that experience? Isn't that counterintuitive? And yet, before you, how many times have we come through, not us through this vessel, us as a collective, and said to you in so many ways, you are the divine, you are unlimited, you are creative. The only limitations you place on yourself is your own mind. Said in so many ways, taught in so many modalities. And we get to the core, the rot of the apple. Do you believe you are the divine coming through physical experience? Or do you believe you are the limited looking to become divine and understand it? Because when you look at this end of the telescope, you see it from a limited point of perspective. When you think you're trying to attain it, instantaneously comes in all of the subconscious beliefs of achieving success, why you won't achieve success, why you are not good enough, why you are not smart enough, why you are not fast enough. And in comes the parade of all of your past failures. And so you have developed an easy way to deal with it. You've created a philosophy of supporting it. Does this sound insane? Indeed it is, but it is the truth. You've created a philosophy of justifying limitation, of only being within a vibrational bandwidth that is so small, it is next to possible to be creative. Because to be creative is to be criticized. To be creative is to step out of the norm. To be creative is to step outside of that vibrational space. The room that we constantly say, you are trapped within, the prison created by your own mind. And so, by that declaration, self-declaration we might add, for each of you, because it does not matter what your brother and sister is doing. The only control you have of is what are you doing, brother and sister? Are you enjoying the view from your jail cell? By defining yourself that way is our evidence and our proof that the intellect is in charge. You have made the intellect God. You have taken a servant and made it king or queen to rule the court. And you live under its limited point of view. The intellect can be a marvelous tool. It is there for a purpose. It has a reason for being there. But when you define yourself by limitation, you are defining yourself by the realm of the intellect. And let us include its court. Its court includes the subconscious, the emotional body. And with that, its court gestures, trauma and drama. And they have no power besides the power you give it. We have said, sit in the seat of observation. Sit in the throne that was created for you. Sit and judge your court, although not by the means you understand judgment to be. We have been clear every step of the way of what this means. And if you do not understand those terms, the basics, yes, the actual lessons called the basics, gives the understanding required, allows you to tap the concepts necessary to understand what we just said. And so if you are new to the lessons, or are not new to the lessons, but just haven't really listened and given it your full attention, roll your sleeves up. There is work to be done. If you truly wish to understand your mind, if you continue waiting for a letter from God personal to make it personally the way you want to see it, personally in the way that you think it should arrive, and personally with auspicious miracles to prove beyond a doubt from your doubtful, fearful mind of what it is that you're receiving, then hold your breath until your next life. Understand when God is speaking and already giving you the opportunity and the information. We, as are you, are its vessels. Where do you think the lesson comes from, and who do you think they were intended for? You. It's not a question if you received the information. The only question before you, are you ready to take responsibility and willing to listen? The path you have sought has already been laid out. It is up to you to roll up your sleeves and get to work. And if you choose not, then you choose not. And you stay in the jail cell. And you enjoy the complaints. You enjoy the fine whining that goes with it. And you stand alone while among your brothers and sisters, hearing others pass just outside the hall living life, but you're trapped within your own mind. This is the gift the intellect with its court will always give you if you allow them to be the king. Allow them to sit in your throne that was created for you. You get a bunch of court jesters acting as if they have authority. They do not. You have the authority, and that has been our point. And so, in order to proceed into these lessons, there is work to be done. There is understanding the intent, the parts of the mind, what their true purpose is. What is it that you currently have them doing now? What authority you give them? And coming into the realization of taking your power back. To no longer give them the attention you have been giving them. Until such things are done, you cannot move into being, because into being means that you are knowing based. It means within the knowing is the higher self, which we have continually called a farce, another illusion. It is your mind. It is not separate from you. And so when you regain your knowing, you begin to have the state of being. But as long as you keep the obsession that you could fix this, that you can create it better than what was already created, that you know better, or at least you think you do, or you feel like you do. You can add on all of the lifetimes you've had. It's been the same obsession. I can fix this. If I just move this, if I just do that, if I just affirm this, all of it, and this is our point in the conversation, is from the intellectual level. And that is why you fail. Are you a failure? No. It depends upon your perspective. If you are happy playing the game, enjoy the game. Play it more. Do it louder. Because it is the only way that your mind gets to the point of realizing this doesn't lead anywhere. I am continually in the same space. No matter how many variations I try, I end up in the same space. And it is not until the mind grows bored, gets angry, and asks the daring question, there must be a reason, there must be a purpose. What is it? It can't be this. What is the point of this body and life? That you begin to break your prison. That you begin to seek other answers that are beyond the intellect. Each of you say, you are here to represent this new light. Are you representing it from the intellect? Because if you are, then our question is, are you actually holding the light? Because within the light is the knowing. In the light is the being. Are you being, brothers and sisters? Or are you still attempting to fix it? Fix what? You don't know. You can't give us a clear answer. You could say an aspect, but you don't know the whole pattern of the mind. Within the knowing, you know the whole pattern of the mind. Because it comes without words. It sings. It expresses. It enlivens the body. It creates experience. And that is the reason you took the body. What we wish to draw your attention to is that this time thing that you're hung up on is not necessary. That is another illusion. It's not necessary. God is not throwing you breadcrumbs of your true self as a reward for your divine efforts. You have the whole loaf. You always have. The only one limiting the whole of you to a breadcrumb is you. This time factor of struggling is not necessary. And so we say, with the prerequisite, if you have done the foundational work that was already given, and you do not have to take it from this course, there are plenty of courses that teach that foundational work of learning to take responsibility for your mind. So regardless of where the course came from, if you have done the foundational work, then you move into the finer expression of realizing, of breaking your obsession to the intellectual level and start becoming, start including your knowing, which expands your perceptions from third dimension to fourth and fifth into a state of being. And it is from this place we can now teach about the universe that you've been trapped within, which is your mind. And so we say again, it is essential to do the work. But this is a path that does not require time. This is a path that does not require suffering, pain, earning. This is a path of surrender. Surrender. Surrender to what? To the gift God already gave. And perhaps you say, oh, that seems scary. We don't want to surrender. You already are. You're always in a state of surrender. Let us repeat that. You are always in a state of surrender. So the question becomes, if you are not surrendering to your knowing, the gift God already gave, then what are you surrendering to? Are you ready for your minds to become twisted? You are surrendering to the intellectual level, the intellect, the ego, the subconscious, and the court jesters, trauma and drama. And the evidence is the life you lead. You are already in a state of surrender. It's not a question of learning to surrender. It's a question of having the wisdom of what to surrender to. The point of I can fix it is from the intellectual level, the false belief, the illusion that you can create it better than what was already created. I can fix this. From that level. And it doesn't fix anything. You have moments of thinking that you have growth. But soon after, trauma and drama shows up and shows you a whole new level of things to fix in your inbox. It never ends. It's a trail that has led through how many lifetimes now? It doesn't end. It is the grand illusion to make you think you are moving that you are growing, when in truth, you've been in your jail cell the entire time. There hasn't been the growth. Certain moments of understanding things, which you then take to the intellectual level. I had this experience, now I understand. So I could fix my life. Stop us when we are lying. And you take that new concept and stir the pot again, and up comes the mud, and it becomes unclear. Or you could understand and include the whole of your mind. And as we said before, within the moments of connection to your true knowing, your thoughts and emotions rearrange instantly and do not change back. They do not change back. And you perceive the world around you that much better. That wasn't the intellect, that's our point. How much time do you spend on the intellect as the answer, exalting it to sit in your throne instead of you? Because you take no responsibility for your mind. Your modalities are set up this way. I will go and understand from the Akashic records this knowledge that I receive of my past life when I was in an important such and such will give me the grace to do what? What does being important then have to do with feeling worthless now? And if you were important then, why are you worthless now? If it was such an answer, then how are you worthless now? You cannot have your full mind and not be in your knowing and not have your understanding your wholeness. Without that connection, you will always feel worthless. And why? Because there are certain things you can create. This is important because it's going to confront a lot of your modalities and a lot of your beliefs. Because instantly you rise to the surface. No one can tell me my worth. Your intellect does. Your subconscious does. Trauma and drama does. What is it that you think you're battling? But when you have your knowing, all of that dies down and disappears for the time period you are connected. And when the connection fades, the thoughts and emotions may change. And whatever it changed does not ever go back, but up comes the rest that hasn't changed. And so look at the connection. The modalities in the way in which you are using them currently cycles back because it's being taught from the intellect to the intellect. DNA resequencing. There's nothing wrong with you. You need your DNA resequenced. Then everything will be okay. That's why you have the issues you have. Is because once your DNA is resequenced, the divine will flow through. And we have said and taught and will stand firm on this. No one could change your free will. If you were willing to become the higher self and no longer treat it as separate and learn to take responsibility and connect to it, and again understand the perceptions not as the limited trying to reach, but as it trying to be through the physical. And truly believe that, as you say, all of your positive affirmations and being positive, be positive about that then. Envision that, know that, and watch your jail cells start to break. Because unless you so mote it be, unless you demand it, the universe will not change for you. You are the only one trapping yourself where you are. And it does not require you fumbling around in the dark. And so, when that occurs, when you make that choice, and the thoughts and emotions begin to change, so does your DNA. Someone doing it for you and taking the responsibility of realigning it, understanding what we have taught of free will. Does that make sense? Look, I'm going to wave my hand. Oogly boogly, blessings upon you. Let us do an arcane symbol. Whew. And we're going to change your will. No one can change your will but you. You are God choosing. And for God to question itself, the universe would be undone. So how could someone rearrange your DNA? You must choose to rearrange your DNA. And not because you're rearranging your DNA to become whole. When you declare you are and go into your knowing, shift your perspective from 3D to 4D to 5D, the rest happens seamlessly. It doesn't need a ceremony. It doesn't need candles lit. It doesn't require a certain blessing. It doesn't need arcane writings or to be on top of the mountaintop. It is by your will alone. Period. Healing. Let's dig around the subconscious and see what comes up. And oh, something comes up. And the healer sees it. Be truthful. Do you see it and feel it the way the healer does? Or are you mimicking what the healer is telling you? Have you ever questioned that in the middle of a healing? When you decide to connect, that gets rearranged instantly. Instantly. You don't require healing. You require connection. You already know. But it is a matter of perceptions. And each of you in this world have been using the modalities that you've been using. And in this we say, they are not bad. Please don't mistake what we are saying. But now we will say clearly what we do mean. They've taken you as far as they can. They will not make it into the new age. And we will repeat and say the message again. Did you actually think when the new energy came in that it would affirm you? You're in the age of ego. Did you really think That you were in the age of being in the age of ego? Of course, there was something to give up. Change is exchange. And so now the new energy is before you. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to give up? And this may sound extreme. Well, yes, the change of energy is extreme, isn't it? You could feel it. You've been experiencing it. You've been watching your world get rocked by it. You've been watching its ripples go through society and unstabilize everything. All of it according to your dictate of your limitations. And while there's been much talk about this is required to end the old, in this we speak in the personal, your personal universe, your personal mind. Does not matter what the rest is doing, just you. How are you dealing with this? What did you think would be required? Did you actually expect to walk into the new energy and have the new energy greet you? Welcome, brother, you are affirmed and perfectly the way you are. It has never been hidden that when this point in time occurs, there would be great change, not change, great change, which by logic requires great exchange. Does it not? There is nothing on your planet that does not follow the rule of a change where two things combined, that there is not a release of what is not required anymore for the new form, and an energy outburst when it occurs and changes. And so logically, using the mind as the intellect as its correct tool, one would determine that in order to embrace this new energy, it requires great change, which means a great exchange. And here you are. And here you are. Your modalities served you up to this point. Their shortcomings, and we say this to awaken you, because as long as you continue doing them within the new energy, you're going to start having some very adverse reactions from them. Because it is like plugging a 110 into a 220. Do you really wish to fry your patience? The new energy is around you, and it is not working perception-wise, frequency-wise, within the laws that you currently hold and think that they are. It will not surrender to you. You must surrender to it. And again, we circle back to the point. You are already surrendering. It's not a question of surrender. It's a question of what are you surrendering to? And the answer is your intellect. And it is time to get it out of your throne so the observer may sit within it and actually rule its court in correct form of judgment. The purpose of judgment, why it was created, to flow with the way God operates, which is what you are. You want the challenge of being authentic? Chew that on. Chew on that one for a while. And that is our lesson. We begin the conversation.
Thank you.
What questions do you have for us today?
I had an observation of like the quality of these interactions. I thought I fell asleep. Maybe I did, but I was. It's just an observation. It was just, but I was interacting in a way, and it's almost like it was quiet for a solid 10 minutes, and then I realized, oh, you're still talking. So I don't know what was said for chunks of it, but it was just a wonderful. It was a wonderful experience of getting a lot of clarity in things. And I think it is important for those listening, go through the lessons because with what you had said about surrendering to the intellect, I understand how it can be difficult to be like, oh, okay, I won't surrender to the intellect and just turn inwards. But when one is so identified with the intellect, the lessons with Anatheial are really helpful. Really, 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 really helpful to make sense of what's going on, because what you're talking about, there is an intellectual aspect. There are words, there's processing, but the impact is like, unless one really sees the intellect for the tool that it is and not who one is. So it's really important to go through those lessons. And if you already at that point and don't need to go through the lessons, that's awesome. But I want to appreciate the quality of what's happening, because it's an experience. Even though I didn't hear like half of it, there was an experience.
It will be important later on to hear it again from the intellectual level.
Yeah, that's why I have it recorded.
But what occurred is that you went into your knowing to receive the intention directly, to hold the energy of what we were saying. You weren't disassociating. You were shutting the intellectual mind off to get the intention of it clearly.
Is this what happens when I'm writing and I feel like I'm falling asleep or falling out? I'm like, oh, I had a big meal or something, but I would write and just stuff would come out, and it's scribbles, but it's like stuff is processed. That's that process, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
You're learning to speak the language of intention, which goes directly back into your knowing. And so when we speak, now in that sense, if you have the ability where we're not engaging you, you just feel what's being said. Mm-hmm. You know what's being said. And in that knowing, you can observe shifts within your energy of different things moving according to the knowing.
And it's funny because it was, as you were speaking, and even when I connect just throughout the day, morning, evening, throughout the day, there's always that sense of like fear. It's so prevalent in our culture and our programming. And it's the thing is, okay, Mansoor, sit with the fear. You just can't get around it at this point. But when one connects, it's almost like, okay, there's that fear in there. That's just what one can be used to. But there's this sense of excitement that comes, and I get it. When you take the attention off of fear, what else is there? It was just, these are just observations, and I'll see where they go. But I really appreciate the interaction.
We wish to clarify a point, because this is something that you are heading to, and so it is important. When we said that we perceive that you are that energy, instead of you're trying to reach that energy, the fear comes in place because your perceptions are still on the intellectual level, the emotional level, the subconscious level, that it can be threatened.
So it is like biologically I'm getting threatened.
Of course.
Because of the identification with the intellect, thoughts, and emotions.
You are telling the body to react. You are telling the body it's a threat. Because I am peeking my head out of the tortoise shell. And it may get chopped off. So the body reacts.
What about all this work I put into the body and my hair and blah, 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 blah? What if I see that that's one aspect of it, but oh my.
And again, don't confuse it. All the work I put into my hair, that's an expression. That doesn't make it bad.
No.
That makes it creative. And here comes in the Bible thumpers of old. Did you give the body attention? That's bad. In comes the Dharma keepers with the scrolls. Did you not have an affection for your body? That is bad. You must be detached. The point of the body is expression from the divine perspective. Now that may change some of the ways that you look at as far as have yourself dressed up. Because how much of the way you have yourself dressed up is based on covering an insecurity, which is what the intellect does. So what would be the pure expression of that creativity to express it as whole? Do you see the difference?
I do.
And so there's always things that, again, change, exchange.
Yeah.
But what all of you have been taught is the shame of the exchange.
Yeah.
That I am going to get holy and give up my shameful actions. And I won't look pretty. I won't go get that new dress. I will not get those new pair of shoes. Because to do so means I'm in ego. And this is bad. This is very bad. Because it means I don't have God's love. You are God's love. It's not a question of do you or don't you. It's a question of the intention in which moves through it. And again, we point back to the simplicity. Connect, and you won't have to worry about weighing and fixing it. You will know, and it will change naturally. And with that change, it creates the exchange. Something will be burnt off because it's no longer required to cover and create a false mask to cover the damage from within, because you no longer see damage. You know what you know. Simple, period, end, lesson. And therefore, you have the body to express it joyfully, without all the wasted energy of creating masks to make that which can change, but you won't take responsibility for, seem okay. Not to others, to you. First and foremost. This is unfitting of you, brother. These are toys that are no longer required if you choose.
Yeah.
What a waste of time.
Yep.
Do you see it?
Yeah. Yep.
What other questions do you have for us?
I don't know if it's the appropriate time to ask, but maybe it would be another lesson, but how all this is tied to what was brought up earlier about the idea of spontaneous healing and it being required. The idea of spontaneous healing and it being required, especially with the policy changes that's going to affect many people. And I don't know if that's a topic for another time to consider, but I was starting to tie what was being said now to, this is the link to spontaneous healing. But there's a requirement to clear the intellectual, that's a weird word, the clutter and distractions and garbage that we identify with in order to tap into the ability to spontaneously heal. Miracles are possible, but it requires the fullness of attention. Hey, buddy. No. We're gonna go. Oh, my baby. Oh, no, buddy. Oh, no, buddy. Oh, no. I'll take.
Okay. There are many directions to go with that. So simplify it into a question.
I don't have it. How does what was talked about tie into spontaneous healing? And it could be a separate discussion.
And it will be, but we will answer to start laying the foundation.
Perfect.
Because it has been the point of our message between the two of you that the wall must be broken, that this type of demonstration will be required. And in this, from your perspective, we just gave no easy task, because you must break beyond the limitations of what it is that your world knows. It's false, but it's what it knows. And that means breaking beyond the huddle of fish that's tightly packed between two vibrational poles that are very limiting, and moving beyond in frequency of that comfortable zone to step beyond the group mind to a newer frequency. And that does not mean you're separated from them. What it does mean is that you're outside of their perspective. The joy, the opportunity is that they can still perceive you. And so you operate outside of the poles and demonstrate the truth. Within the group mind, once it is demonstrated, everyone flies over and the poles expand. And so the poles become wider for a range of manifestation.
Yeah.
That is the opportunity on a larger scale. The purpose behind it is within the physicality, which is to deal with a situation that currently your medical system is failing. It's running on autopilot. That the intention behind it is to make a profit. The intention behind the people who took the jobs within the last 15 years was not to heal. It was to make good money. And your intention always speaks true in your actions. And look at what we have. You had a medical system that was built up to heal, filled with people that was their purpose, to heal. And then you voted, because being a business would be so much better. And allowed businesses to come in, the not-for-profit organizations, and become for-profit. You voted in and allowed the insurance companies to go from not-for-profit to profit-oriented. And suddenly you have CEOs with $1 million of bonuses. And the people getting the bare minimum treatment. And if you have been to the emergency room, you understand how many times, how many bounces does it take to go through the emergency room before they actually treat you for what's actually wrong. Normally, there's a bounce that you have to pay the price for to mistreat you, misdiagnose you, and send you home. You look stable to me, and then what you're dealing with becomes so unstable, you go back into the emergency room, and then they deal with it. But wait, you're paying for both visits. You have agreed for your structures of service to become so inefficient that you dread picking up the phone to simply make a phone call to make a change for something that you're paying for, something that you have a right to. And how many people falling out the bottom, not getting treated, and now having those rights to be removed to access it at all, as inefficient as it is. Good luck. And for the healers, we have been given a consistent message that this needs to be addressed. It is time to organize. But there's been no answer. Because looking at this doesn't make money. And they're barely hanging on as it is. People don't want to support them. And they have the modalities in a particular way to attract certain mindsets that will constantly be in need. Without stress testing that each of their traditions was created to heal, not to feel better, to heal. And while there's talk about it, it's not the focus. And now we bring in a third leg, which is that in order to get from point A to point B, this goes back to what we originally discussed in the first part of the meeting, to be able to access greater energies, not by right of ceremony, not by right of initiation, but by right of consciousness, which requires responsibility, which requires change and exchange, which requires surrendering. And in that, we speak accepting the surrender you're currently using and rolling up your sleeves and doing the work to move that attention of surrender to where it really belongs. The way God truly flows, which in turn means authentically and harmoniously with who and what you truly are. And then access unlimited healing. In the beginning is the requirement for those who've been put here to do this, to demonstrate it. To show people that it's possible. To give them the hope. To show things do survive outside of the limited poles that you swim in consciousness between. That you can expand them. It is a choice. And from that, inspiring the world to give new intention to the structures that are before them, to believe that change is possible. Without that belief, exchange isn't even a part of the subject. And right now, people do not believe change is possible. And that is the point of the demonstration needed. And on this, we are going to make this session short. Mm-hmm. So our peace to you.
Thank you. Woofers.
Could you press the square?
Yes.